Hi everyone, this is Laura. I'm the CEO of VMV Hypoallergenics, the safest, most proven effective care on the planet. And it's been a wild start to 2022 already with a tremendous surge of COVID where we are in our offices. Thankfully, most people are really safe and recovering. But for me personally, it's been nuts. My entire household was down with COVID. So it's about 7 people. Thankfully, my mother was negative and asymptomatic, and so was I. But so that meant me being on duty pretty much for the 3 weeks. And I thought, there are many other people who are going through the same thing. And as I shared sort of our experiences between the COVID for so many people in the house and then Miss C, which is an inflammatory complication that sometimes happens with kids after COVID, we realized how many people were actually going through the same thing, friends and other people at VMV, and certainly family abroad and stuff. So we kind of polled folks within the company to figure out what are some tips that really helped them manage a household with COVID. And so those are some of the tips we'll be sharing with you today. So some of you all know we're doing 3 studies right now on virgin coconut oil for COVID, actually, prevention as well as for mild to moderate cases, and I think we have a study for severe cases. And while there are other studies on virgin coconut oil for COVID, they have to do with ingesting COVID, getting it straight to the stomach, which is important also. It's an important study to pursue, but it is not, let's say, the same objective or the same protocol that we're doing, which is application topically, particularly within the nostrils, swished around the mouth and then gargled and spat out or swallowed, and then applied on the skin, under the nails, as you would a hand sanitizer, and on the ears. And the reason for that is it's not a matter of what VCO might do when you eat it, but its ability to do a few things. Number one, its proven ability to be a physical destroyer of microbes. There are great studies. I can post the link in the description since the 70s, I think. Studies since the 70s showing virgin coconut oil, monolaurin, and other derivatives of virgin coconut oil as really effective antimicrobials. And unlike some drugs, some antibiotics, for example, it doesn't work enzymatically. It works really physically, almost like washing your hands. It breaks apart the lipid membrane of the cell, right? So it's a very physical action. And by applying it up the nostrils, swishing it around the mouth, gargling it, etc., applying it on the skin, it works as like alcohol or a hand sanitizer, like washing your skin does. So it kills the virus on those surfaces. But also, these areas have the glands that have the receptor and co-receptor for COVID-19. So a lot of the virus enters through these areas and incubates there. So what we did in the house, knowing this, is we put a little bottle of virgin coconut oil near pretty much every sink or every room to try to really keep a visual reminder to people to do the the nostril swabbing, the swishing and the gargling 3 to 4 times a day. And that's what everyone was instructed to do. And on the family chat, we even reminded people to do your VCO ritual. And by keeping it next to, say, the sink, it became like an automatic visual reminder to, say, when you're brushing your teeth, then you do your nose, etc., with the virgin coconut oil. Similarly, along the same lines of having a visual reminder, we put disinfectant wipes and our monolaurin hand gels beside every door. So like any takeout delivery, it was a visual reminder to wipe it down. COVID doesn't tend to spread with fomites, clothing, bed linens, things like that. But if someone were handling your delivery and happened to sneeze on it or something, they weren't wearing a mask, that might still be an opportunity for infection while it's wet. So it's nice to wipe things down. And let's say someone had to go to the hospital, which we did at one point for tests for my son, coming back immediately at the door, grab that hand sanitizer, those disinfectant wipes for the PPE, and having it handy by the high trafficked areas or coming into the house areas was very helpful. The tip that I shared actually was such a revelation to me. We have an old bar cart from back in the day, and I repurposed it to basically follow what hotel housekeepers do. So I used it to cart everything around. So if I was going from room to room, it was a great way to store cleaning supplies. So like a little vacuum or the broom or whatever, and to take out trash, collect laundry, and bring it all and get that done. And then I'd use the same cart, wipe it down to deliver freshly laundered things, or to put plates back where they belong, or to serve meals because everyone was in isolation. So the bar cart thing, glorious tip for me. It was life-saving. And if you don't have a bar cart, I mean, they're really cheap options you can get online, shopping carts and stuff like that. But for me, it was a godsend to just wheel everything around to different people. The other thing that was super helpful, I'm no great cook, as everyone knows, so I had beloved friends who actually would send us frozen meals, so really lovely pre-seasoned chicken that I could just, put in the oven. But yeah, simplifying food was a huge tip for us. We'd either do just takeout all the time, or if we would order online, we'd get, frozen stuff that really you just put in the oven, or pre-cut veggies already for salads and things like that. So the more simplified the food, the better. Yeah, and another nice tip that my sister actually shared was, some days just embrace the filth. Some days it's just too much. Too many people are sick. There's just too much to do. There's just too much, just too much. And on those days, sometimes it's okay to just stay in your pajamas and just embrace the filth and just surrender to it. Get to it the next day. So that's super helpful. The very last thing I wanted to share, my son had Miss C, which is a complication, inflammatory thing that can happen with some kids after COVID. And what I did, because there are lots of medications to sort of keep track of, I got an old bento box from a delivery that we had. And that's where I keep all his medications and the scripts, so I know exactly what to give him. And then I can keep all the old pills so that if I lose track in my phone with the notes I'm taking, I can actually go back and double check how many pills were given of a particular medicine. So it's really helpful if you can reuse takeout stuff. So that's it. Share in the comments what you thought, and if you have other tips that might be helpful to other people who are managing COVID households, entire places that are down with COVID. Otherwise, do be safe. Get your vaccines, get boosted, try the VCO thing. It really does work. And, disinfect often, and be safe. Look out for each other. Take care.